Hello everybody, welcome back to Cannonball Cottage. Today we're going to be doing pork chops or pork steaks, deep fried. I've got some oil just reaching temperature here. It isn't quite there yet. We need it to reach about 170 degrees, 175 degrees. And what we have here is some pork steaks, pork chops. There were only two originally. I've actually cut them in half so that they cook a little bit quicker. And I've already seasoned them with what I would call a peri-peri sauce, and I'll talk about that in a second. It's my take on a peri-peri sauce. And I'll run you through the ingredients of that. So now anyway, we've got the pork there, and I've got some buttermilk here, and I'm actually going to coat this pork in the buttermilk, and then afterwards I'm going to coat it in flour before we actually fry it, and I'm going to turn it over now and make sure as we get both sides of the pork covered. I suppose really I should have put the buttermilk into the pan first, and then just laid the steaks onto the. Either way, doesn't really matter as long as you get them coated. That's the main thing. And I think you'll see that these are two little bits there. My favourite little bits. They're a little bit on the fatty side, and we'll just give them a minute now just to absorb some of that buttermilk. I suppose really you could actually marinate it in the buttermilk for a little bit longer, really. But as I always say, for video purposes, we're actually going to run through it quite quickly. And again, we're still not there. We're only at 155. I'm going to raise the temperature again to try and achieve this 175 degrees for it to fry in. While we're waiting, we'll now coat the pork in the flour. This flour is just ordinary flour. It's just been seasoned with salt and pepper. Doesn't need over seasoning because, bear in mind, your pork itself is already seasoned. Just make sure as you put plenty of, get it so that it sticks to the pork. That's the main thing, making sure as the flour actually sticks, because you want some of this flour to give it that lovely crispy texture. And I'm sure you'll love this. It's absolutely lovely once it's fried. These shouldn't take too long because they're really thin now. These there you go, look at that one. Take the next one, coat it in the flour, really submerge it in the flour and push down onto the pork steak itself so that it absorbs all this flour. There you go, that's that. Now I'm just going to throw these my favourite little bit. It's sort of these tiny little pieces of porky, fatty pieces. Right, so I'll just move this out of the way. I'm just going to swill my hands off. There you go, that's that done. Also get a cloth, just in case we need a cloth. I always like to have a cloth at hand, just in case any spillages, excuse me, or anything. Now, this is it, we're up to, yes, we're definitely up there now. And then you must try and maintain the temperature. So in we go with these little pork steaks. And as I said, we need to maintain the temperature, so I'm actually going to increase the temperature now so that we don't lose too much heat. Get that one in there. And I think we've just got enough room for the fourth one. Like so. In she goes. And we're also going to put the little chef's treat. The two little pieces there that are... Turn the temperature up again, just to make sure that it maintains the heat. And there you go. The next thing now is, of course, is just to wait for this to continue to fry. These, when you're frying it like this, you need to make sure you keep up the temperature. When we used to do them in the restaurant, we'd got deep flat fryers that used to maintain their temperatures, which made life quite easy. So you don't want to lose too much temperature here. And indeed, I'm going to have to turn that up slightly because, as I said, what you need to do is make sure as you get it to fry rather than boil, as it were, you know, sort of steam. There you go, it's coming back up to temperature again now. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for these to fry again, I've just dropped my temperature gauge. I'll just explain to you about this peri-peri, this seasoning. I've made it up a batch of it like this, and then you just keep it and it lasts for some time. And I'll run you through the ingredients. I'm going to have to read it off my list, and because there's quite a number of ingredients. First of all, there's 2 tablespoons of sweet paprika. There's 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. 1 tablespoon of oregano, dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. However, you can reduce that if you're not into the hot. Seasonings. We've got a teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and of course we need to. This is, you know, that's as hot as it's going to get, I'm afraid. My little hobby, it won't go any hotter than that. Where was I? 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder, that's the green cardamom, and also 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I know there's a lot of ingredients there, however, you can use it just as a dry rub, or you can do what we used to do, was actually I'd make up a batch like that, like this, and then I would add lemon juice and olive oil to it, so that it made it sort of a runny type sauce that I used to sort of paint over the chicken or pork before it was char grilled. And of course, with the added lemon and olive oil, it used to give the product, you know, the chicken or pork, a fantastic flavour. And just keep on checking this. Unfortunately, the oil has dropped, and it's struggling to come back up to the temperature that we require, really. But I think it just means it's taking a little bit longer, and of course it won't be as crispy as you intended it to be. So you need something to maintain this. As I said, this little hob doesn't work as well as the stovetop, which is behind me. I should have done it on the stovetop really, but never mind. It will get to where we want it if we just leave it instead of God, I mean, it's bubbling away. You would think that that would be hot enough, wouldn't you? So it isn't actually increasing at all really, so I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but as you can see, it is browning, giving it that brown effect. There you go. Look at that. Turn it over. This one's excellent. This one is just what we're looking for. The others are a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to take these two out, just to give the time for the oil to increase again, and I'll drop that back in again once these two are done, and we'll go from there. I'll just check the temperature again of this oil, and it's immediately increasing. Unbelievable. Yep, doing well. It's actually coming back up to the required temperature. So I learned from my mistake there. I've overloaded the pan. But yeah, there you go. It's coming along nicely now. We'll just move these around slightly. Oh yeah. Now it's beginning to brown up nicely. Let's turn it back. You can see now. Look at it beginning to fry as it should be. Yeah, I'm afraid I made a mistake there, but I'm sure that you've got the gist and how it should be done. As I said, don't follow my mistakes. Don't overload the pan. Yeah, it's getting there now. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to take the actual pork itself is more than ready. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put them on this piece of kitchen paper just to drain slightly, and I'm still going to leave my little bits in there, and I'm going to put back these other two. Yeah, listen to that. You can actually hear the response now. So again, check the oil. You've also got to keep on checking it so that, for instance, you don't want it to bubble over the top of your pan. Always use a deep pan to actually fry or saute anything, because you don't want it boiling over. And especially if you're using gas, you don't want the oil to boil over, because of course it'll flare up. And that's the last thing you need, is it to, there you go, they're done. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm just gonna get myself a plate to put them on. Again, just to drain, turn the power off now. I'm just gonna let them drain on this paper, like so, to take the majority of, just take this pan out of the way. And also this little, just this diffuser out of the way. There you go. And into the sink. And we're just going to get another cloth just there. And I'll get my plate just to show you, to give you a little bit of a display on how you could serve it. I mean, you can serve it with a salad like so, or you could serve it with vegetables, and they're lovely and crispy. I don't know if you can hear that sort of crispy. In fact, there's a little bit there. I'll just eat that. And there, I'm going to eat this little crispy bit. And there you go. Perfect. Deep fried pork steaks here in Cannonball Cottage. I hope you've enjoyed this little demo. I'm sure you'll enjoy them if you try them. They're absolutely lovely. I'm just going to try a little bit that, you know, the favourite little bits for me. Beautiful. Seasoning's perfect. Not too hot. Nice and crispy. Giving some really, really crispy texture. So there you go. Crispy deep fried pork steaks here in Cannonball Cottage in the afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, share and make a comment. And we'll see you all again soon. Cheers everybody.